Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
Today, we are here with the next installment of lesser-known saints celebrated in this month.
Yes, and Mike has pointed out that we technically missed a day last month.
Well, I just thought I enjoy the fact that February 29th is that most unexpected of days. It only comes around every 4 years, unless it's 100th year. It's a bonus day. Mm-hmm. That very rarely happens. I've never once encountered October 32nd.
Yeah, because we didn't live through that crazy year in the 1600s. So.
No, they just skipped half of November. It's crazy. Again, that's why we're not sure when Catherine of Teresa of Avila died. Was it before or after midnight on this day? So,
anyway, you have a factoid and a saint for the day that happens a few times a lifetime.
February 29th, St. Oswald of Worcester. Now, he does not fit the normal criteria of these saints in that we know a relatively large amount about his life. I'm just deeply amused by the fact that his feast is February 29th.
And as a result, most people don't know it because in most people's lives, it's only been celebrated 20 or so time.
Well, I mean, it's not even on a local calendar, so.
All right, so now that we finished February.
March proper.
So our first saint is Saint Leocrita, who was an abbot.
And his parents just really had a thing for saints' names. I mean, most good Catholic parents do. But, Leocrita.
On March the 2nd, we've got Saint Cynibild, an evangelist of Anglo-Saxon brothers. An evangelist of Anglo-Saxons. His brothers were Saints Chad and Ced. Yes, in fact, there is a Saint Chad.
I just picture him wearing some sort of, I'm going to assume, probably a monk outfit. Maybe a priestly garb that just has collars popped.
I don't think you can pop those collars.
Saint Chad could.
Saint Chad could. On the 3rd, we have Saint Nonna, also known as Nonnita or Nonna. Which is weird because I believe Nonna would be like grandma. She'd be like Saint Grandma.
Yeah, but that's like in Italian, right?
That's true, and she is the mother of Saint David of Wales, so probably not Italian.
But
you could still refer to her as your Nonna or your Nonna.
And massive props to both Saint Non and Saint David, the only Welsh saints whose names we can pronounce with any degree of reliability.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's got to be another one that's famous enough we know.
We should amend that.
Hugh.
The only ones that we can pronounce with any degree of difficulty that we're aware of.
Hey.
It's entirely possible that while it looks like Non and David,
I'm pretty sure we're
that
on
the Welsh,
Saint David of Wales.
I'm just saying I've seen some of the things that come out of Wales. For all I know, they've got some funny way of pronouncing the word David.
Well, again, they spell David funny, but they pronounce it correctly. That's the thing about Welsh, reconciling the spelling with the pronunciation. Because David is David, no matter where you go.
Fair enough.
Right.
March 4th, St. Peter of Pappacarbone. That's fun.
Yeah.
A Benedictine monk, bishop, and abbot. He got around. He was a Benedictine, so he didn't.
I feel like that should be like a pasta dish, Pappacarbone.
Mm-hmm. I want a nice heaping plate of Pappacarbone.
Yeah.
With some fettuccine sauce.
Yeah.
Next.
Saint Carthach, the elder, a.k.a. Carthage.
Cathage.
Cathage. Okay. Yeah, no R in that one. There's an R in the regular name. There's no R in the nickname.
Well, he was an Irish bishop, so much like our problem with Welsh names,
for all we know, we're
Irish
getting it wrong.
names also are ones where
It could be Cathage. It probably isn't because that doesn't really track with my understanding of the language. But
he was an Irish bishop related to a local king. Huh. On March the 6th, unless you had more.
no,
Nope.
That's the point of this. We don't.
Nope.
on March the 6th
We've got Saint Basil
of Bologna, not the Basil you're thinking of.
Although I'd be there's got to be an Italian form of that. Basil just doesn't seem a very Italian name to me.
I just like it that his name and his location were two different foods.
Some basil, and some bologna. Yum. Except on Fridays because it's Lent.
Yes. On the 7th, This one, I'll take this one because I'm
back to the
I'm
Welsh.
This is Welsh.
We brought this on ourselves.
I'm gonna butcher this.
I mean, I brought it on you, and then went.
We're a team.
We're a team. But I'm gonna make a good faith try. Saint Enodoch, aka Wenedoc, possibly Qendydd.
Qendydd?
Yeah. Qendydd. There's entirely too many consonants in there for the amount of vowels.
As you can tell from the difficulty pronouncing, he was Welsh, related to the chieftain Brychan of Brecknock.
Yeah.
Huh. Then, on March the 8th, we've got Saint Simon Berneux.
Which sounds French, but apparently
he was a
Korean martyr.
Huh. I don't know how you get that from Korean.
On the 9th, Saint Pacian. Known for his writings on many subjects, was praised by Saint Jerome for his eloquence and sanctity.
But Jerome had a problem with everybody.
Yeah, no,
that guy didn't like anybody.
That guy observed a perpetual Festivus. He was constantly airing grievances. He didn't like Augustine.
He wasn't sure about some books of the Bible.
I got a lot of problems with you people. But
he just liked celebrating Christmas in the cave that Christmas started in.
He loved that cave. But apparently he was down to St. Pacian.
And possibly a lion. But that's a different story.
Then, on March 10th, St. Anastasia Patricia, a.k.a. St. Anastasia the Patrician. According to a legend, she was the daughter of an Egyptian noble and a lady-in-waiting of the court of Emperor Justinian, who wanted her. So she fled to a convent in Alexandria and later lived in the desert and dressed as a monk. Huh.
Yeah, that's another one where we have a lot of information that's so old that all the sources are like, this is a story, and we're not entirely sure how much of it is, all accurate.
We have nothing even close to a primary source, so is everyone just perpetuating the same mistakes?
It makes for a heck of a story.
It is a great story. And because it at its core, it's true. All too often through history, even in the Christian era, because we're all sinners, some women have had to go to extraordinary lengths to defend themselves from men.
Yes.
Yes, and according to the legend, she totally got, permission from the local monks to be like, yeah, dress in our habit and live out in a cave. You're fine.
Well, and again,
we won't tell the emperor where you are.
The problem with being Justinian is, he was a devout Christian who wanted to serve the church, but when everyone treats you as essentially as a living god, it goes to your head.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Next.
I mean, I don't know how that could possibly happen to anybody.
I am the humblest of all.
We have another one that has backstory we don't know all the information of, but seems super interesting.
All right. The 11th
is Saint
Benedict Crispus. Oh, I'm sorry. This is one you could have actually pronounced.
That's okay.
I didn't mean to step on
We'll make her do the 12th.
All right.
Thank you.
So, Saint Benedict Crispus, Archbishop of Milan, who was involved in a lawsuit of unknown type.
Somebody was suing somebody.
Somebody was
all
not
the
pleased with
sources say
somebody.
there was a lawsuit involved. No one says what type.
Wrote an epitaph for Cadwalla, the king of Wessex.
Ooh, I've heard of that dude.
I just find it interesting because he's from Milan, or at least he lived in Milan.
Well, the medieval world was not as
yes,
isolated as we think it was.
However, if you were in Wessex, you know who I think would do a really good, thing about
the Archbishop of Milan. Sure, not your first choice.
Like, do they have correspondence throughout their life or something?
They probably encountered him on pilgrimage.
Yeah.
or met during a council or something where they weren't the people who were there to be in the council, but they were the people who were there to assist the people who were there to be in the council.
Since we all know that the true work of a council happens in the cafes around the proceedings.
All right. So
next,
on the 12th, we have Blessed Joseph Tshang-ta-Pong, who was a catechist and a Christian martyr.
Chinese.
A Chinese Christian
martyr.
Well,
he was a Christian martyr.
He was a Christian martyr.
There's a lot of lines that say martyr on here.
Well done. Well done. Next, on March the 13th, we've got Saint Ramirum and Companions, martyrs from St. Claudius Monastery in Leon, Spain, who were killed by the Visigoths, who were dang dirty Aryans. Yeah. Ramirum. We need more Ramirums.
Yes. On the 14th, we have Saint Boniface Curitan.
Nate.
I'm sorry. I didn't pronounce that one right. Let me
Try
try
again.
that one again. On the 14th, we have Saint Boniface Curitan.
Although I can see why you have that issue because he evangelized the Picts and Scots, so perhaps it's like our problem with Welsh.
Oh, so he was Saint Boniface. And they'd probably be like Boniface.
Hey, where's Boniface?
Well, no, Scots. It was a terrible
Scots.
Scottish. Yes, there you go. That's much better. My Scottish accent
If it's not
is
Scottish,
terrible.
it's crap. And then, the Ides of March. Beware Saint Leocrita, a.k.a. Lucretia.
Not that one.
A martyr in Spain who converted from Islam and then was presumably martyred in part for apostasy.
Yeah, the other Lucretia, I don't think she got sainted.
We can't blame every Lucretia for the Borgias.
Listen, she probably didn't poison as many people as it was said she did. Like, a handful. Nowhere near the numbers they give her.
Oh, Saint Leocrita, pray for us.
And that is halfway through the month, so...
Now, March is in fact the perfect month to be doing this because even though Easter is a highly movable feast, which makes Ash Wednesday highly movable, March is always Lenten time.
Yes.
So, very few, a big deal is not made out of saints except for, St. Joseph on the 19th and then the Annunciation on the 25th. Except for that, it's all Lent.
Or St. Patrick's if you're,
Or if you're Irish,
bishop that,
St. Patrick, yeah. Yep. Although,
Or if you're not Irish, St. Patrick.
everybody's Irish on the 17th.
At least in America.
Well,
and
I will say-
statistically, it's not that wrong.
We get around. So, this year our bishop is going to celebrate the Hibernians' Mass on St. Patrick's Day, but he is not dispensing them from the Lenten abstinence. So, no corned beef for the Hibernians on St. Patty's Day.
No. Kind of glad I'm not a Hibernian.
Well, no corned beef for you either.
Oh.
I mean, if we weren't working the fish fry...
Come to the fish fry.
I could always see what the bishops around us said, because again, the rule is where you win in Rome.
We are close to Detroit, where muskrat is the order of the day.
And therefore, you
On
can eat
Lenten
muskrat
Fridays.
if you are in Detroit, because in the diocese, that's a fish.
So, comment below on more obscure saints in early March, or a pronunciation guide for Welsh names.
Or perhaps the weirdest thing that legally is a fish where you're at for Lent.
It's always a good one. I love that one.
Give this episode a like, subscribe to our channel, ring the church bell to be notified the next time we come back with the back half of March's saints. And until next time,
Remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
share that
that
love. And keep up the lentening.
Yes.
An alligator's not the weirdest thing. All reptiles technically count. Or amphibians. Which amphibians make more sense because they start out in the water.
But if
But
you can find
alligators just
something,
hang out
but
more
if you
so.
can find something that counts as fish and has feathers, now that would be impressive.
The barnacle goose, which is no longer officially a fish.
Frigate bird?
Puffins, I think.
You should be totally able to eat a puffin.